Welcome to part 2 of this recording on the state of affairs in our country, most recently. So let's just get right down to it. Now, the trends which are very clear on the ground is that Jubilee is now organizing for demonstrations. I thought demonstrations were the NASA tactic. We change anger. Now things have changed. That's what it means. Now it seems that the new strategy for Jubilee is to organize demonstrations. Now, what purpose could these demonstrations be for? Now, before I give you the answer, I will remind you that in part 1 of this recording I said wrong move. Jubilee are making all the wrong moves. Okay, I wish they had somebody. I'm sure they have people who can advise them correctly, but my theory is that all those people are being ignored, and in these times of desperation they are following advice that can only lead in the wrong direction for the party. Okay, now why are they organizing these demonstrations? The whole idea is that in the country now it has become very clear. It's as clear as day. It has become very clear that the majority of Kenyans were defrauded on August 8th. It has become very clear that the majority of Kenyans want the Jubilee government out. Okay? Now, simple example. If Jubilee wants to organize a demonstration, they don't need to use any money, they don't need to choreograph it, they don't need to organize it. They just speak and pop, the people are there. Now, if Jubilee needs to organize a demonstration, there's a lot of buying of t-shirts, distribution of cash, getting actual feet on the ground, etc., before a demonstration happens. You see the difference? So clearly Jubilee are the minority, but now as a minority you don't play the game of the majority. That is a bad mistake. Strategically, that is a terrible, it's a fatal political mistake. You remember I gave an earlier example where I said that Jubilee should not have attempted to hold a meeting at Uhuru Park. Why? Because you try and play on your strengths. You do not expose yourself by going head on with a competitor who has got larger numbers. Strategically, that is the wrong move. What you want to do in a contest is that you want to play on your strengths, you want to display your strengths openly, and you want to downplay on the strengths of your opponent. Okay? Now, NASA have the numbers, so you don't go head on against them, trying to demonstrate you also have numbers. You go a different direction. Okay? Anyway, so this is what is unfolding right now, and obviously the demonstrations will make things worse because firstly, the numbers taking part in the demonstrations are clearly visible on our TV screens. They are small numbers in comparison to anything to do with NASA numbers. I'll give you a very simple example. Same NASA numbers outside the Supreme Court after the historic judgment. Compare and contrast. You see? So now it's becoming very clear. Now, meanwhile, there's some major backroom deals unfolding. Or an attempt at backroom deals. Okay? Now, going into these elections, the international community just wanted to get over it as quickly as possible. Get the election over with, get a president back in State House, and life moves on. In fact, some of the international community prominent members had major business deals lined up. So they just wanted to get this election out of the way quickly. So when NASA came up with complaints that the election was not free and fair, there was a lot of skepticism and impatience. There was a lot of pressure on NASA leader Raila Odinga to concede defeat. Wacha tumalizane na hii maneno. We can find something for you to do. It seems unfortunately the international community had bought the usual Jubilee propaganda, and they had bought it as the truth. In fact, one international observer confessed that they had been told by the NIS that if Raila does not concede defeat, there will be chaos countrywide of a larger magnitude than 2007-2008. Yes, they have confessed that. It's in the public domain. So obviously, when you're told that, how do you react? You react exactly how the international observers reacted. Okay? Now, fast forward to the current situation. International observers, after the Supreme Court judgment, the truth now is slowly dawning on them. Okay, and what they're now putting on the table is a grand coalition government, similar to what we had in 2007. And what they want is they want the two sides, the two major presidential candidates and their representatives, to sit down and negotiate a kind of settlement, yeah, that would result in this grand coalition government. Now, obviously, NASA are not going to take that. Yeah, they're very much opposed to that. Why? Because in 2007, the same thing happened. Raila Odinga had won the election, and the international community came up with this grand coalition idea. And for the sake of peace, Raila Odinga accepted, and he was a junior partner in the government that was formed. Yeah, and now, and a few years down the line, we started hearing rhetoric like Raila Odinga is a perpetual loser. He always looks for an excuse when he loses elections, and yet he won the 2007 election, and there was a grand coalition government. Yeah, so now that same Raila is being asked to accept once again, yeah, a grand coalition government in an election where it's as clear as day that NASA won. Okay, to be very honest, if you can look at this from another side, completely different angle. Yes, the truth is that going forward, we're actually on a road leading to nowhere. Why? Because Jubilee has demonstrated very openly that they will not accept an election defeat. That is very clear. They will not accept an election defeat. Okay? Now, NASA already won the election which was annulled. Yes. The figures were hidden inside the server, which is nobody. The access has been strongly denied. Is still denied up to this minute. Okay, and now they're going to the repeat polls. They're sure of a victory. They're very confident that they're going to be victorious. And then here they're being told to accept a coalition government. And obviously the arrangement will just be like last time. Raila Odinga will be a junior partner. Okay, now. Even if NASA goes ahead and wins the current election, Jubilee will not accept. There's no way Jubilee is going to win the election. So what's going to happen? Really, that's a question. Yeah, it's a difficult situation. And even as we discuss that, there's still the issue of the irregularities and illegalities of the elections which are annulled. Yes? Now, because people broke the law, people abused the constitution, definitely there must be some legal action taken against them. Okay? Now, unfortunately, the people who legal action is supposed to be taken against have got very strong government backing. Yeah? Naturally, because they would not have acted alone in all those illegalities. Definitely they are acting in favor of the government, and therefore it is obvious that they had full support and backing of the government. Yeah, so prosecuting these people would be by extension prosecuting the government. Not possible. Yeah, how does that happen? Meanwhile, tensions continue to rise in the country. So what next? What is the solution? Yes, even as we wait for the election date, that is what is on the table. Yeah, it is a no-win situation for Kenya. Yeah, NASA wins, can't work. Jubilee rigs again and wins, can't work. Yeah, Jubilee loses, can't work. So what, all the possible outcomes are not viable from where I sit. They are absolutely not viable. Taking what is on the ground right now and what is happening in the country. So what next? In my view, I will suggest what I had already suggested earlier on. That the two parties sit down and negotiate and create a caretaker government. Yeah, a caretaker government that does not have the principles of either side, does not have the presidential candidate of NASA on it, does not have the presidential candidate of Jubilee on it, but it has people who are respected by society, people whom the country can trust, yeah, to put everything in place for another presidential election, not immediately at a date they will both agree, but when they have set and they've organized everything on the ground. After prosecution of the people who caused the problem with the current election, after a lot of house cleaning within the IBC so that it's completely free and fair, and a lot of other things going on. And then with this caretaker government in place, at least Kenya, the hand on the throat of the economy of Kenya can be loosened, so that at least people can do business, people can go about their work. Yeah, we can get things back working. Yeah, because things have been at a standstill since August 8th. Okay, that would be my suggestion. But then, of course, that is just a suggestion. We don't know what will happen next. Those who are praying for the country, once again, I urge you, please continue to pray for our country. Let us see what will happen, what will unfold next. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.